Well, good afternoon and welcome to this edition of Drive Facebook Live. I'm Bob Spitz, your host, and with me is our famous co-host Tony Whistler.
Hello.
And hello. And joining us today is Kelsey Lancaster from Performance Automotive in Colorado. Welcome, Kelsey. Glad you're here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, not a
Good to see you.
problem. It's our joy. And Kelsey, why don't you tell the listeners, for those who are listening in, who you are, where you are, the kind of shop you have, your location, all that stuff.
You got it. So I am Kelsey Lancaster. My husband Brandon and I own Performance Automotive Repair. We are in beautiful Bayfield, Colorado, which you've probably never heard of. We are about 20 miles east of Durango, which is a huge tourist destination. So you've probably heard of that. We're almost as far away from Denver as you can get in Colorado and still be in the state.
Mm.
So people think of Colorado, they think of Denver. Yeah, no, we're a long ways away. We are general repair. Brandon started the shop at our home actually 9 years ago, almost 9 years ago. He just decided he wanted to go out on his own, was not happy with any of the shops around. And we put a lift in outside of our garage, which in Colorado, that's not going to last very long. And then we had an opportunity to rent a building in Bayfield, and it just kind of has exploded from there. We have grown. Last year, we did almost $2 million in sales. So in
Wow.
9 years, we've grown from nothing to almost $2 million. We have 10 now employees. We are a teaching shop. We consider ourselves a teaching shop, which we can get into that a little bit more later. But I have 3 technicians, a service advisor, two apprentices, and an intern. So I guess I don't have quite 10 people. We need 10 people to run. So I am looking for some folks. This is a perfect time to be talking about recruiting and finding and making your dream team, because we are currently looking for folks. But it has been a wild ride. We just are super happy. I come from a banking background, actually. I left my career after 20 years, and I have been here with Brandon for 6.5 years now, and I love every minute of it. I just
So much
cannot
more
ask
exciting
for.
than banking, huh?
Yeah, yeah. Most definitely. Yeah, it's a lot more fun. Banking's not as fun as it used to be. But it's amazing here. We have a wonderful team. We have awesome customers, and I just am so proud of Brandon and everything that he's accomplished and what we've accomplished together. And Drive has been a huge part of that. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for all that you've taught us, all the workshops that we've been through, and the camaraderie that we have with other shop owners. It's just, I can't speak highly enough of it.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
And you
Thank
let the
you.
cat out of the bag about our topic today, which is all about recruiting and retention and building that winning or that dream team. And by the way, Keith Mayu says hi.
Hi,
He's
Keith.
out of Fresno,
Mhm.
California. So we have people listening in.
Excellent.
And building up from nowhere to 10 employees, and you have 2 locations, don't you? But it's the same business.
It is the same business, and really the two locations are about 80 feet from each other. So we've had the building that we're currently in, we've been in here for 8.5 years. And over that 8.5 years, we actually were able to buy the building from the previous owner. So we've been operating with 4 technicians and 4 lifts. And as we all know, that is about half of what the industry says you should have as an owner of lifts per technician.
Yeah, it's tight.
So yeah, it has been. But our guys have been great about rack arrangement and knowing who's working on what. We have a production meeting every morning. We talk about everybody's day. We know exactly the jobs that they're going to be doing. So we make sure that we're not disabling a vehicle behind the alignment rack, because we only have one alignment rack. But we were fortunate enough, about 5 months ago, our neighbors to the west, which was a feed store, the building is 100 by 50 feet, and they retired. They decided they were done with Colorado and the snow and wanted to get out. So we started working to buy the building from them, and we have purchased the building that's next door to us as well, and have put 6 lifts in over there. So we have our 3 full-time technicians working in our new building next door,
Nice.
and we have our 2 apprentices, and we have a new tech starting on Monday who are going to be working in our main shop over here. So we now will have 10 lifts for 6 guys.
Wow.
Oh, very good. Very
You
good.
know, having two buildings like that presents some unique challenges when it comes to dispatching.
Mhm.
Are you using an electronic dispatching system, or
We
you
do.
still paper?
Nope, we use Auto Vitals. We've been with Auto Vitals actually longer than I've been here. We started with Auto Vitals about almost 8 years ago, and it's been fantastic. The digital dispatching, the digital inspection, it's wonderful. Our customers absolutely love it. We had a guy, brand new customer yesterday, said, "I've never seen anything like that before. That is just," he said, "it's the best thing he's ever seen."
Well, when
So
you have
we're
two buildings, I think it's a must.
yes,
Otherwise, you'd
most
have to set
definitely.
up a pneumatic tube like in the old banking days.
Oh,
Oh, we've
pneumatic
thought
tube.
about it. We've had a request for a pneumatic tube system. The guys also think that we need a zip line between the buildings. I don't think
Zip
that's going to
line.
happen.
That'd be awesome. Now, is it just
It
for
would
like
be-
packages, or can people go too?
That's what they want, both. So it's proved some challenges. We've only had the second building now for a month. We've been in there since February 1st. So
Mm.
not only is it going to increase our efficiencies, but we also have to figure out how to increase those efficiencies. So I just updated our parking policy because we have 4 parking lots, essentially. If you think about all the different parking areas that we have over 2 acres that we have, we need to be organized and figure out where a vehicle is parked, why it's parked there, how we're going to know that it's parked there. The last thing we want is to look dumb because we can't find a customer's keys.
Oh,
So
oh, oh yeah, oh yeah.
our
Oh,
parking policy dictates all of that. And that's just one of the things that we're working to improve the efficiencies on with having 2 locations and people spread out. A huge challenge when you have multiple locations is making sure that your team feels valued, that they are included in everything from, whether we're having lunch today or if we're making a decision on something that impacts them about where oil is going to be placed or how we're going to do parts. You got to make sure you're including all of your team in that. And it's much more difficult when you have 2 locations. So we're working through all of those bugs and making it all happen.
Right.
yeah.
I can see where the location, like you'd be like, oh, we forgot about those guys. Like you order pizza or something, and they're like, hey man, we're over here.
Right. And you don't want them to feel like the stepchildren of the shop.
That's right.
So we work hard to make sure we include everybody.
Right. So the office is in the old building.
Correct. And it will stay over here. We, in the new building, have a tech office. So our technicians can actually sit down and have their own laptops with printer if they need to. They can do the research. They have iPads, of course. And we've always had a laptop for the technicians to use, but they've all had to share it. So now the technicians have their own where they can do their own research and get the information that they need when they're diagnosing something.
Very good.
And have you been able to, with that new building, set up a training room?
No, but there's plenty of room. So we actually have trainings here at our shop. As I said earlier, we consider ourselves a training shop. So not only do I have 2 apprentices that are both in high school, 2 interns that are both in high school. I have 2 apprentices that are in college and beyond college. But we bring trainers here. So I have purchased tables and chairs, and I have a big TV that they can hook into. And we've paid 2 different companies to come here and do 2 or 3 day trainings. I open it up to other shops in the area. I have a registration form. They pay for their people to come here. The last training that I held, I had 15 participants from 4 different shops in 3 different counties.
You know,
Wow.
something that, because we're going to talk about recruiting in a moment, but that's one of the secret recruiting tricks is to hold training in your shop and let other technicians see just what a great shop you have.
Absolutely.
Exactly
Not
right.
that we're
Now,
trying to steal anybody's technicians, but
And, typically the shops that will send technicians to this type of training that we hold are the shops that people want to stay at anyhow. They're great
Right.
shops. They take care of their employees. And so it poses some challenges because they are happy where they are. But yes, you're absolutely right. We get to know all the guys in the area that want to learn, the shops that want to learn. And so we've created good relationships with them. And we do have a nice network of guys that if they're unhappy where they are, they know they can come to us, and we have a little bit of experience with them.
Well, one of the things too is we like to think that technicians in general are a good source for other technicians. And so if you know every technician in the state because you've been training them all up, then you're not necessarily trying to poach those particular people. They have good jobs and they're happy, but they may know someone who knows someone who knows someone, kind of a vibe.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's the grapevine. Oh, by the
Yes.
way, Mark Graham from Florida says hello. He's
Hi,
watching.
Mark.
Very
It's all
So
these
we could
people that
actually,
I've met at trainings and workshops in the past. I love hearing that they're watching.
yeah, I know you make friends from all around the country.
You
I
really
had,
do.
I had a quick question for you.
Mhm.
So, what do you think the maximum amount of people you could have in one training session would be in a room? This is it's a personal question. I have some ideas going in my head.
Okay. When we've had AVI come and do trainings with us, they have requested 25 people. If they get any more than 25, it's more challenging. They can't give the dedicated time to each individual person or answer all of the questions if they have more than that. So we had 22 people in a training, and it was a lot, but it was a good number. And really what I do is I just set up in the shop. And now that I have this beautiful new building, if we do trainings, we're probably going to do it over there because it's even bigger and better. But yeah, we just set up in the shop, and I could potentially have, I would say I could probably fit up to maybe 75 people in the big shop now if we chose to do that. I'm actually kind of working with our local O'Reilly store. I've been working with them, the manager, for quite a while because they want to start bringing trainings in. And I said, if you can't find a location, we can host it here at our shop. And so that would be an opportunity to have 75 people maybe come here and participate in an O'Reilly's training. And
Yep.
that just builds that rapport with my O'Reilly store as well and all of the other people in the area.
And if you get the right
Fantastic.
training in there, you might get to see Jim Saley.
That's so
Absolutely.
true. That would
By
be
the way,
great.
Adam Jadovitz from
Hey,
Lake
now,
Elsinore says hello.
Hello, Adam. He's on my top 20 group. He's a magnificent seven, just like I am.
there
The
you go.
Magnificent Seven.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, because you know, we started off saying you went from nothing to what you are now in 9 years
Mhm.
with 10 employees. And, you know, needless to say, recruiting is a hot topic in our industry, and it's truly a hot topic in any skilled labor situation in the United States,
Mhm.
whether it be carpentry, plumbing, you know, any skilled labor is a hot topic in the U.S. So, what have been besides holding training sessions and allowing other technicians to see your fabulous location? What are some of the recruiting practices or best practices you've employed that have helped you?
Facebook has always been our go-to. Unfortunately, they don't do job postings anymore, so you just have to put a regular post out there and then pay a little bit more money to get it out to a bigger audience. But it's been very successful for us. We have recently retried Indeed. We tried Indeed a number of years ago, and it was basically an epic fail for us. We got no good candidates, and everything that was on there was old. However, I do feel that Indeed has done a much better job recently of whether they've updated their algorithms or they're attracting newer or different people than they used to. This last go around, when we've been looking for a new service advisor, we've had a bunch of qualified candidates, and it's been much more refreshing to work with Indeed this go around. So Indeed is working better for us now. I will say the number one thing that we did, and we are on a major highway in our area. I bought a feather flag, a now hiring feather flag, and I had a local printing company make it for me. And you can see here in our logo, we've got our little gear in the middle, and I had them take that gear and put it in the middle of the now hiring. So I've got a 15-foot feather flag out in front of my shop right now. And I actually had a guy stop in yesterday and brought his resume to me. He said, I saw that you're hiring. Here's my resume, and let me know if you want to sit down and talk. So for us, being in a major area where we have thousands of cars drive by every day, it was a game changer. It really, really was. And you have to keep in mind, our town that we're in is only 2,800 people. We are a very small town
Mm,
in a county of about 55,000 people, but this throughway is lots and lots of traffic, going through, going to other parts of the state. And so we have a ton of people who drive by and see, and, oh, hey, I know someone who's a technician who might be looking, and we have a lot of word of mouth.
Fantastic. And could you explain what a feather flag is?
I was going to ask the exact same thing. I have no idea. I thought it
I
might be
wish
a
I
little
had a picture
embarrassing,
of it.
but
No, it's fine. It's basically it's a tall, skinny flag, and it's got a post in it, but it's probably about, I would say, 18 inches wide, but then it's about 10 feet tall. So
I've
when
seen
you
those.
go, you see a new apartment building, and they say apply now. It's that kind of a flag that just waves. It's not a regular flag. It's just tall and skinny.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes they have them in like downtown areas and stuff, I think,
Yes.
in front of convention centers and things. I
Mhm.
never knew what
Well,
those were called.
I
call
never
it
knew
a
what they
feather
were
flag.
called either.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And that's why I
Yeah,
wanted
you're
to, I
welcome.
thought that's what it was, but I wasn't sure. Now,
Yeah.
putting out signs, it's one of the suggestions in the Grapevine checklist,
Hmm.
Mhm.
putting out signs, and because you just beat the bush no matter where. Did you you've attended the Building Your Dream Team workshop, yes?
We did. We attended the online version. I cannot remember who was our teacher. Tony, did you teach that
Probably.
previously? It
Yeah.
was probably you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of great information. We have used the CRM part of Auto Vitals to message, to text and email our customers when we're hiring. We have put it on Facebook. We've put it on our website. We have a hiring page on our website that Drive hosts for us. Thank you guys so
Brilliant.
much. And that has been huge. We change that up anytime we're looking. And really, when I say anytime we're looking, what everybody needs to know is you never stop recruiting.
Mhm.
That is critical. Just like you never stop marketing. Just because I'm busy doesn't mean I'm going to cut my marketing budget in half. Just because I'm fully staffed doesn't mean I'm not always looking for someone. If I had a unicorn walk through my door, I had a master tech who had the right personality, the right behavior, all the tools, and the training, I would figure out a way to make a
You
place for
betcha.
that guy.
There's
That's
no, I
exactly
have no
right.
room for you.
Right. I want, and especially we're looking for the right personality in our shop. We're looking for the right behavior. We don't just hire someone because they have experience. Slow to hire, quick to fire. You got to know about that person. You don't want to just pick the first applicant that walks through your door. I don't care how desperate you are for a mechanic or for a technician. You got to make sure they're going to fit with what you've got going on. We, as a teaching shop, I need to hire guys that are going to understand the importance of helping that next generation get into the industry. And so I need them to want to teach other people and to help other people excel and do well. So we're not just going to hire the first person that walks in, but you betcha if I find that person, I'm going to figure out a way to make it work.
Right. And it sounds like what we like to teach in the class is you hire for culture
Fantastic.
and then you train
Yes,
for skill,
absolutely.
so
Yeah.
you get
And
the
of
right
course,
people.
the message all through those workshops is you can never quit recruiting.
Never stop.
It doesn't mean you're hiring, but you never
Right.
quit recruiting, because you run into those periods when it is slow,
Mhm.
and shops make the mistake of laying people off, and then they get busy, and then it takes months usually to find someone.
Get them back.
Well,
Right?
if you're constantly recruiting, it takes some of that anxiety out of it, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I will say we've had to lay one person off one time, and it was 4 years ago, right when COVID started.
Mm,
It was the scariest time, and anybody that had a shop during COVID understands what I'm talking about. That first month and a half from mid-February through the end of March, I really wasn't sure what we were going to do. With Drive's guidance, we were able to make it happen. We went out and you got customers, and we were picking up vehicles and making it all happen. But that one layoff that we had to do was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
He was a fantastic guy. He was a good technician. We really could have done well with him. Thankfully, he found a job very quickly, but you want to know what? He's the technician who starts on Monday. He's coming back to us.
coming back.
Ah,
Oh,
He
that's good.
is.
What a great
Yeah,
story.
I just got chills thinking about it. That, everything happens for a reason in its own time. And unfortunately, sometimes you do have to lay people off, but it all works out, and he's coming back, and we're going to make him our alignment tech. And we're really excited about his future with us and where we're going to go with him. So it's just a wonderful feeling to have the team that you want and have built that team and working with them and keeping them happy. It's just
That's
it's
great.
amazing.
Yeah, that's great.
That is great. Do you have any tips on, well, let me back up here for a second. You mentioned that you are a teaching shop.
Mhm.
So I'm assuming, and I don't like to assume, that that is a big part of your culture
Absolutely.
in your
Yes,
shop.
most
The
definitely.
desire for continual education, for staying on top of technology, for
Mhm.
helping each other. Is that your culture?
Absolutely. And that's why when we're hiring technicians in or even service advisors, we have to make sure they understand that and that they're willing to put the time in to help the next generation. So it's a huge part of our culture. We encourage any training that anybody comes across that they're interested in taking, that they let us know and we will sign them up for it. Like I said, we bring the trainers here, which is a lot less expensive than me sending all of my crew across the country to a 3-day training, which includes airfare and hotel and food. When
And
I
per
can
diems
pay,
and
yes,
yeah.
I can pay AVI or WorldPack or ATG to come to my shop and spend about a quarter of what it would be to send all of my staff to a training. I can have them come here and do the training. So that was a huge game changer when I met them at the expo a couple of years ago. Just to know that that was even something that AVI does, that they go around. And I'm telling you, AVI's training was the best training. Most of my technicians, my master guys even said it was the best training they've ever been to. So if
Wow.
anybody wants to know about AVI's in-person training, let me know and I'll give you some information on it.
Now,
But
how about
yes,
your, I'm sorry, go on.
oh, I was just going to say, yes, training is a huge part of our culture. It's an expectation. I even have a continuing education policy explaining how we do our training, what our expectations are. And if we have an employee who wants to take a college level course at a community college or a college or university, and it relates to what they're doing, we do tuition reimbursement.
Mm,
It's part of our policy that they can go to school. Now, if it's during working hours, we have to work out the details of that. But if there's a ton of online universities and colleges where you can do, if you're on the business side or on the front end side, if you want to learn more about being a service advisor or possibly owning the business in the future, you can take classes and we will reimburse those for you.
that's awesome.
Fantastic.
Now, I have a question about your internal training because obviously you're really coordinated with the external training.
Mhm.
How does your internal training go, and what and how much do you use your like written policy and onboarding material, all of that kind of thing? How does that work on the internal training? If you don't mind me asking.
No, I don't mind at all. So Brandon has learned a lot in the last 8 or 9 years about how to train people. He has a ton of knowledge in his head. He's been a technician for 30 years, but getting it out to them is very challenging. And it's not like you can write down in a policy how to work on a car. So there's
No.
a lot of hands-on, but he's come a long way. And just the training moments when he's out, we've got an apprentice who started diagnosing a vehicle, and really it was above his understanding. And he started diagnosing it the wrong way. And Brandon pulled him aside and he was like, "Wait, where did you start?" And he said, "I started, there was metal in the oil when I first pulled the oil pan and or first pulled the filter." Okay, but that's not the direction you need to go. The customer brought it in for a no start. So it's really just taking the time to talk to them and ask them the direction that they're going in their diagnosis. All of our technicians know, and all of our apprentices and interns know that they can ask any question of anybody at any time and it's going to be answered. And it's not a policy, it's just the way that we do things. And so there is a ton of learning that happens every single day, whether it's our master techs still learning something new, all the way down to our interns.
Well,
That's
anytime any technician says, I already know it all, that's the
that's
end
a
of his
red flag.
career. That's
Yeah.
he's ready for a restoration shop.
Right. He's probably not going to fit in with what we got going on.
Yep.
Now, how has, because I want to get this in before we run out of time, how has the culture and your whole direction, has that helped in retaining technicians? Because turnover or churn is also a situation in our industry.
I think that it has. Our longest term technician has been with us 6.5 years. He came straight out of tech school. So we got him fresh, wet behind the ears and have taught him how we want to do things. And he actually has been a big part of where we are today because he's helped us from the technician side of auto vitals and workflow of what works good for him as a technician. So we've all kind of grown and learned together. I said that the guy who starts on Monday I call it the Be Back Club because he left and then
He'll be back.
coming back. But we've actually had 3 technicians do that to us in the last 5 years.
That says a
where
lot.
For various reasons they've left, whether it was they needed a shorter commute or they got a different job offer, they wanted to try something different, and they've come back. So, that I think that says a lot about us and how we run things and that they want to be a part of what we're doing to try to better the industry because they want to come back to us.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So the next question is, what's next?
Oh, our service advisor of 7 years left us in December. She never went to college after high school and had a bunch of personal stuff happen to her this last fall and decided that she wanted to go into criminal justice. And so she left us to go to college. She got her scholarships all set up. And so as much as we miss her and as great of a job as she did for us, we're super excited about her new opportunity and helping her to, support her to make that happen. So that's been a huge challenge. Thankfully, we have another service advisor who's been with us for 2 years. His anniversary is coming up next month. And so I am currently looking for a service advisor. If you know of one, send them my way. And depending on the level of experience of the service advisor that we find, we might need a helper in the front as well, a receptionist or cashier type person.
Well, at $2 million a year, I'd say you do.
Yeah. With all the techs that we have, whether they're part-time or full-time, one service advisor cannot handle it. So we'd love to have 2. We eventually will probably be looking for another technician as well. So that'll be 5 techs and 2 apprentices, looking for an intern to potentially turn into an apprentice as well. So we've got lots of room. We will make room for the people that will fit in with what we've got going on. It's just really exciting. We hope to have the top 20 group come to us next year and do an inspection here at our shop next spring. Couldn't make it happen this spring with everything we had going on. It just was too much, but we're going to invite everybody to come visit our shops and check out what we've got going on next spring. We love our top 20 group, our small Magnificent 7, as well as the whole top 20 group. It's just an amazing organization to be part of, that smaller part of Drive. We just are great friends with everybody that we've met through that, and excited to have them come and see what we've got going on here.
That's fantastic. Tony, before we run out of time, I think there's a station break here.
There is a station break. So next week, we have David Goldsmith, the owner of Urban Classics in Brooklyn, New York. And we'll have his coach as well, which I believe is also your coach, Kelsey.
Yes, because he's a top 20 member.
He's a top 20, Carla Weiss. So she'll be with us.
Yay.
And of course, don't forget, we have an expo coming up in June. So man, if you haven't been to a Drive Expo, you need to go to one. That's all I'm going to say.
They're fabulous. We love Drive Expos.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a wonderful time to get together with old friends, meet new friends, and just share great ideas.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, Kelsey, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yep,
and we
it was
wish you
great
nothing
having
but
you.
continued success.
Thank you.
And thank you for everybody who's been listening in and watching to this week's edition of Facebook Live. And we'll see you next week with David Goldsmith.
Yep.
So have yourselves a great weekend, and we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.